There we go. Good evening. Welcome to our 7th and 8th grade winter band concert. I'm so excited to have you here. This is our first performance, our first live performance since January. Well, probably, January was our last band performance of 2020. So before the pandemic, obviously we were moving forward on stuff. These guys were sitting in 5th grade, and then unfortunately they didn't get a chance to have a concert. And so this is their very first band concert, their premiere performance. So we're very excited to have our 7th grade band up here. Give them a warm round of applause to welcome them. Now, I'm sure you've heard some sounds over the years. So in the very beginning, we were just learning how to make sounds on the instruments. And over the course of time, even with the pandemic, we were able to do some playing online. That was a challenge. And I'm sure the kids will tell you that playing together as a group is far better than sitting at home and playing over Zoom and trying to do things that way. So although I think Zoom is a wonderful thing, and thank goodness for it, I'm not sure what we would have done had we not had this technology. But it's certainly better to be able to make music together. That's kind of the joy of music, I believe. And so we've been working hard. So in that time, we've learned quarter notes and half notes and whole notes, and we've gotten into eighth notes. And those of you that are real familiar, we've gotten into some dotted rhythms and things like that. We also started off with only 5 instruments. We had flutes, clarinets, trumpets, trombones, and percussion that we're playing on drum pads and bells. Now we've advanced, we also have saxophones now in our midst. We're going to be adding some other instruments into this group as we move through the remainder of this year. So we're going to be adding French horns and baritones and tubas and all kinds of things that are going to add more color to what we have. But this is really a great sounding group. I'm excited for you to be able to hear what they've been working on. So this isn't going to be Mary Had a Little Lamb and Hot Cross Buns, where you may have heard them a while ago as a group. We're going to begin with a piece called Fanfare Heroica. And a fanfare is a musical way of introducing things that are going on. We hope you enjoy it. So they've come a long way since those beginning sounds, haven't they? So when we first started playing, if we had been able to have our beginning concert, every instrument would have been playing the same sound. So like if you think of the song Happy Birthday, everybody would be playing the melody. And they've advanced, so not everybody is playing the same thing at the same time. I'm sure you noticed that. And hopefully you got to see some of the percussion instruments that are in the back, triangles and crash cymbals and all kinds of things back there that are going to add nuance to the pieces we're doing. And I should have mentioned, but we do have a baritone in this band, and he's also an instrument that adds a lot of color to this. So I didn't mean to leave you out, Leland, I'm sorry. Our next piece is entitled Moto Continuo, which in English would mean continuous motion. What you're going to hear are some steady themes that pass their way around in the piece, and again, it's adding a lot of different things to the group. We hope you enjoy. selection is entitled Chariot Race. And so we hope you're going to kind of feel like you're in Greece, watching them run their chariots, racing around an arena or down a street, but kind of put yourself in that place. So there's going to be some interesting sounds. You're also going to, one of the things that you're going to hear is a whip crack sound, kind of like the driver of the chariot is urging his or her horse to go as quickly as they can to try and win the race. So be listening for that. We hope you enjoy Chariot Race. All right, our next selection is entitled Sea Shanty. It's probably a melody that some of you might be familiar with. We might know it better as Blow the Man Down, but it is kind of a fun piece. It gives the opportunity for different sections of the band to be highlighted in the middle of the piece. So you're going to hear where it's just the woodwinds, flutes, clarinets, and saxophones. Then it will be just the brass, trumpets, trombones, and baritone. And then it will be just percussion. And then we all come back together to finish out the song. And this is just kind of fun. I don't know if you saw the trend last year where sea shanties were kind of a cool thing to kids, which I love because they're a lot of fun to play. So this is Sea Shanty. right, they have been doing such a nice job. We've been working hard, as you can hear, I'm sure. And so we're going to wrap things up with a holiday song. This one I think will be familiar to you if you know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? We hope you enjoy. I didn't wait again. Good evening. Welcome to our next part of our winter concert. Seated before you is the Braden 8th grade band. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, for these guys, this also is their premiere performance post-pandemic. And so the last time that you would have heard them was as budding 6th graders on the January concert. And so a lot of things have changed since then. If you'll notice up here, we do have some other instruments. So we have some saxophones, we have French horns that have added in. We're going to soon be switching some other instruments along the way, like I mentioned with the other group. You'll also notice in the percussion section that they're going to be playing a wide variety of equipment back there. So again, they've come a long way since 6th grade, and I think you're going to be very excited to hear them. This first piece that we're going to play is called Legend of the Eagles. It's by Ohio native David Schaefer. So it's always nice to know that there are composers. As a kid, I always thought that they were always somewhere else than where I was. But Ohio is very notorious for having a wonderful amount of band composers. Been kind of a mecca. If you've heard of Carl King and James Swearingen and many others, we are very blessed to have that musical history here. But this piece is going to open up, much like the 7th grade band. This is kind of a fanfare, has a lot of excitement to it. So it starts off very exciting, then we get a real slow, pretty part in the middle, and then we come back to that exciting part that you heard at the beginning. It's called ABA form, which allows the students to kind of grow through some of the different styles of music that we do. We hope you like Legend of the Eagles. Our next selection by Robert Sheldon is entitled As Twilight Falls. So, and this is a very slow, pretty piece. And so a lot of people think slow pieces are easier because they don't play as many notes. But in fact, a lot of times they're more challenging. We have to really be listening to other sounds in the band. We have to be holding notes out longer and counting very carefully. It takes a lot of concentration. And they've done a really nice job of this. As the title suggests, the piece is kind of depicting, you know, at that just right before it gets dark, that twilight time. In the summertime, that's where you get a lot of the really pretty sunsets right before the sun goes down for the evening. So you're going to kind of think about that hush. Here in this area, you know, you can go out and watch on Lake Erie. A lot of times for me, that would mean the water's just slowly rolling in, you know, and it's just starting to get dark and calm, and things are calming down for the night. This is As Twilight Falls. Intentionally have a night theme here, but this next tune, In Darkest Night, kind of takes us to a very different place. Starts off a little bit soft and ominous, and then we move into this really energetic part of it. For me, it kind of reminds me of Batman, just something that's a little bit sinister, a little bit dark, and then they have to take off and save the day. I would say this might be our favorite one as a band, but they really enjoy playing this. We hope you enjoy it as well. Yeah, again, I'm not a quick learner, I guess. Before we do our final selection, I do have a couple announcements. First of all, I'd like to draw your attention to the upcoming performances on about 2/3 of the way down the page. It gives you some highlights of some of the band performances that will be coming up. So our high school band will be having a winter concert on the 13th of December. That will also be here in the auditorium. All of these will be right here. Our 5th and 6th grade band concert is in January 27th. And then looking towards spring, high school will be performing on March 24th. 7th and 8th grade, make note of this one, May 10th. And then again, 5th and 6th grade band on May 19th. Those of you that are parents of 8th graders, I also put on there our tentative dates for band camp. So if they're planning to come up into the high school band, which I hope all of them do, that's a date to reserve. That's where we go away to camp and we learn all our things for marching season. That's a really great time for all of us. So kind of put that on your radar. Also know that we will look for chaperones as well. So if any of you would love to spend a week away from home with 100 and something teenagers, I know that's enticing. Don't all, bombard the stage. But really, it's a great time. It's a great way to see where the kids start and where they progress. So think about that if that's something that would interest you. Also, I have a couple thank yous. I certainly couldn't do all of this without my help, my partner in crime, Mrs. Ponteri, who works with us every day. Give her a round of applause. Tonight we also have a recording being made. Colby Combs from the Edgewood Media Department is here. Colby, thank you so much for recording that. Give him a round of applause. We're very blessed that we have band offered grades 5 through 12 in school. It's tough to get that worked out, and especially when you consider how many of our students are involved in this program, it really takes effort to make sure that that is part of our day. Music is so important. I know it was something that really kept me going throughout the pandemic, but certainly it's something I love to do. But for most of us, we find that music is so important in our everyday lives. And thank you to all of you for supporting the kids being a part of this program. Kids, let's give your families a round of applause because it takes a lot. We appreciate you. Also, I had a couple kids that volunteered to help. We did get hit with some COVID situations and illness that kind of is working its way through. This is starting to become everyday life for us. But I had 2 high school senior flute players that volunteered to help with us. So Grace Patriarco and Maya Beatty, thank you so much for helping us out tonight. But other than that, just a note that when we finish the concert, we need you to sit tight for just a minute. The 8th grade will be moving out the back door to the outer cafeteria. So those of you that are parents or families of the 8th graders, you can pick them up out there. Our 7th grade is going to go back to the band room. They're going to go through the back passageway. But if you go out the door to the right and up that hallway, you can pick them up in the band room. Again, before we play the last number, give our 7th graders another round of applause. They did an excellent job tonight. Thank you so much. We're going to wrap things up with this holiday tune. It's made up of a medley of Christmas songs, and so see how many of them you can count. There's a whole bunch of them in this. This is A Dash of Christmas. Thank you so much for coming out, supporting our students. Again, our 8th graders are going to head out, so if you could hold off until we get out through there. 7th grade, they're going to go out through there. And thanks again. Have a safe trip home. Have a wonderful holiday season. We look forward to seeing you in the spring. Good night.